Do I think that ICP could be a big narrative during this bull run? Yes. And I don't only just think that way because I hypothetically see it going to the price of $500 during this bull run. But another reason why is because I think that when it comes to blockchains, man, the internet computer really is one of the leaders in this space, even though that's not financial advice and nothing I say is a guarantee. Because here's the thing. The internet computer, despite having stiff competition, like Ethereum, like Solana, you take a look at the BNB chain, Avalanche, Algorand, even despite that, guess who holds the title of the world's most productive blockchain? That is the internet computer. That's kind of crazy to think about. On average, the internet computer processes upwards of 500 million transactions per day. That's insane. That's over 500 million, while at the same time, maintaining reduced energy consumption and cost. Again, meaning that statistically speaking, it is currently the world's most productive blockchain, and that's insane. Now, people may think that blockchains are going to become obsolete in the future, but I disagree, even despite being Caspa, which is a block DAG, and also despite having Hedera Hashgraph, which is a directed acyclic graph, which in its own right, in my opinion, does have its advantages over traditional blockchain technology. But again, it doesn't mean that it's bad. And when it comes to blockchains, man, I think the internet computer pretty much stands on a league of its own. It's pretty much perfected a very simple technology, in my opinion, quote unquote, blockchain technology, but then it just feels like it's a lot better in terms of a layer on blockchain. Now, people may think that, oh yeah, the BNB chain, this is fantastic. They love BNB. Well, take a look at the BNB smart chain ecosystem, for instance, back in 2023. Slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened that year actually occurred on there, according to Crypto.com research. So that's not all that great. I get it. BNB has more fans than ICP, but it doesn't mean that fundamentally the internet computer is bad or anything like that. Not to mention Solana, at one point, it did experience 8 different network outages in just a time span of a year. That's kind of crazy. Now, at one point, that means that in a year, it happened almost once a month, which is kind of insane to think about, really. But you just don't see any of that type of stuff with the internet computer. Not to mention, you take a look at, for instance, something like Ethereum, which arguably is, of course, a lot better than the internet computer in terms of fans and hype, but when you take a look at its gas fees, which is still a complete problem, by the way, also you take a look at the scalability issues, it just isn't ideal, in my opinion, for a layer 1 blockchain to sustain long-term institutional adoption. The internet computer, I think, is much more dynamic. It doesn't have to rely on layer 2s, much like Ethereum. Not to mention, it's just much more cost efficient than Ethereum as well. And I think, of course, this does matter because oftentimes people like to say that, oh yeah, enterprises, they have so much money, they don't care about this. Well, they do. I mean, think about how they are worth a lot of money. And I mean, you got to think about why they're even worth a lot of money in the first place. They made good economical decisions. You know what I mean? So again, when people say, oh, enterprises don't care about the price of it being expensive, they have billions. Well, the way they have billions is because they don't do stuff like that, if that makes sense. It's like, how is a person even wealthy in the first place? It's because they don't invest in random depreciating assets. They don't spend excessively, right? Hypothetically, at least that's the way to take a look at it. And the internet computer, again, it's very cost efficient. Why do I say that? It's because you take a look at the average cost per instruction on the internet computer is over 40 million times less expensive than Ethereum. So that's insane. If an enterprise is taking a look at something like this, they're saying, whoa, over 40 million times less expensive. We're not talking about over 40 times. Even in some cases, that's already amazing. Over 40 million, that's ridiculous. So this right here is so massive, I think, for the internet computer. Now, granted, it takes time for institutional adoption, for enterprise adoption to really kick in, but it doesn't really matter because people usually care about the narrative, and the narrative here is amazing. Not to mention, it's just much more efficient, in my opinion, in terms of storage, in terms of price as well, because for $1 worth of smart contract data on the internet computer, you can get over 200 million bytes. However, on Ethereum, you can get only around 44 bytes. So when you think about that, that's a totally night and day difference. I mean, the internet computer is just very revolutionary. Sometimes it's hard to believe. However, this is very fantastic. Not to mention, the internet computer can allegedly connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles, which is insane, by the way, because if you take a look at an oracle is basically a data feed that brings data from off the chain, aka off-chain data, and brings that data over into the blockchain. This is done to help decentralized applications function properly. Now, you may be thinking, okay, this is kind of boring, who cares? But again, without this, many applications out there, they can't function. And there's even projects that are entirely focused on this aspect. Take a look at Chainlink, primarily focused on oracles. Take a look at the Pyth network. And again, the fact that the internet computer can come in and say, hey, basically, we don't really need that. Again, we can connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. That's insane. That's kind of crazy to think about. That's like Elon Musk stepping in and saying, yeah, we don't need gasoline-powered cars. We don't need diesel-powered cars. There's an electric car. It's like, boom. You know what I mean? So the way to take a look at it is that this is basically like the electric cars of blockchains. The fact that they can step in and say, yeah, we don't need oracles to do that. That's insane. So when people like to say that Chainlink and Pyth is amazing, yeah, they are. I'm bullish on them. But hypothetically, I'm saying in 10, 15, 20 years, maybe the adoption of them may not be as fantastic as the internet computer, because if they don't have to use oracles to do this, they can quite essentially bypass the whole process. Now, I'm not saying that Chainlink or Pyth is going to do bad. I still think it has a bright future in the next 5, 10 years. However, in decades to come, this right here could very well be a solution. Now, it's probably not going to dominate the whole market, but still, the fact that if an enterprise takes a look at this, or let's say a developer, and they say, wow, they can just bypass this whole process, that's how amazing the internet computer is. Not to mention, the internet computer is trying to decentralize the internet. So that right there is great in and of itself. It's a grand vision. I understand that. But still, you know what? You aim for the moon and then you land somewhere along the stars, as the old saying goes. Now, people may think that ICP at the price of $500 is impossible. However, when you have over 500 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, when there's this much institutional investors, this much enterprise adoption with the Bitcoin ETF, and with the sentiment when it comes to cryptocurrencies as of right now being extremely positive, I highly doubt that ICP is going to do bad. Now, it's already done pretty good, relatively speaking, despite pullbacks and whatnot. From the original point, I was talking about ICP back then, so I can't say I made a wrong call by any means, but $500 I still think is hypothetically achievable. I mean, if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $240 billion. That's around a 43x from here, by the way, so I don't think it's that bad. You know, if you take a look at Ethereum reaching around $550 billion of market cap, I just don't think this is too much to ask for. Now, granted, is this going to happen next week or next month? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to take time, but as the bull run progresses, as it goes into third, fourth, or fifth gear, man, I just don't see why not. I mean, again, when you have those amazing factors and when you have the internet computer being this narrative that is on the rise, I think this could be something special. People love Ethereum, they love Solana, and if they love them, why won't they love this? You know, it's just much better. It's like the way you take a look at it. If I like KFC, once I try Popeyes, I love it even more. You know, Ethereum, it's like KFC. It's good, but then Popeyes is like the internet computer. It's just much better, in my opinion at least. But that's just the way I view it. And again, $500 during this bull run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think that the internet computer could be such a big narrative during this bull run, but it's just a waiting game, and I'm willing to stay patient because anytime on income, I'm acquiring, holding, and just waiting. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.